Okay, so welcome to day two of the final week of this free boot camp. In this over the next couple of days, I'm going to be, as I said to you before, I'm going to be giving you a bird's eye view of what the rest of this health jigsaw puzzle looks like. I can't possibly go into each thing in great detail and sort of help you implement each of the different challenges, because these things have to be done. One, they have to be done in stages. Two, in terms of the lifestyle factors, it's very different. They vary greatly from one person to the next. So it would be very difficult for me to help you implement these or everything in this short period of time. I mean, it takes about at least 6 months. I mean, if somebody's got a lot of lifestyle factors that they need to get a lid on, sometimes it can take a little bit longer. But for the average person, it takes around about 6 months to complete everything. Now, as I said, I am going to be giving you a bird's eye view of what that jigsaw puzzle looks like. You will have enough information if you choose to go away and figure it all out yourself. But if obviously that's going to take you longer to figure it all out by yourself. But if you want that whole hand holding and guidance from me, whatever level you want that on, I also have diagnostic tests that I can get done for you, which I'll discuss with you a bit further on. There'll be an opportunity to book a free discovery call with me, and we can have a chat about what would best suit you and your goal and your personal circumstances moving forward. So let's move on swiftly on to the next slide. Just very briefly, as I did do a live on this the other day, somebody asked me why I do what I do. And the reason I do what I do is because of the experiences I've had with my own health, and the experiences my amazing mom, who's pictured here with me, had with her health. And it is very important to me to empower other mums to know how to make better choices that will ring fence and future proof everything that they value so dearly. And I know if you're in business, your business is important to you, but ultimately let's look at why you are running a business. You're running a business to give your family everything they deserve in life, to give them the best start in life, and to give yourself the opportunity to create lasting memories with them before your days on this earth are over. That is why we do what we do, okay? And believe you and me, having one of my biggest fears being a mum now, because when I really battled with my health. I have had a relapse with my Crohn's since having Sophia, when she wasn't sleeping, and I caught gastroenteritis, which is a recipe for disaster for anybody who suffers with Crohn's. Prior to having Sophia, there was only me, and I know how hard it was then, enjoying my life with no quality of life. It is physically impossible. I lost my business. I couldn't run my business. That's why I lost it. I had to let it go. All the luxury things that I had, I couldn't go on. I was too unwell to go on any luxury holidays, which I went on every single year with my husband. We always had 5-star holidays, every single year. It's not that, we couldn't afford them. We could afford them. I just wasn't well enough to enjoy them. What was the point in spending £5,000 on a holiday if I can't enjoy it? And this is my point. Everything, it falls into insignificance if you don't have your health. Your health is dependent on every single thing that you value in life. Everything. You know, my mum, you know, I'll never forget the look on her face. I know how it impacted me. You know, my mum battled two very aggressive cancers for 20 odd years. But, you know, in the end, you know, she'd never, although she'd had many occasions where, you know, she'd been grade 4. She'd gone to the stage one of the lymph nodes, you know, on a couple of occasions. But this is the first time when I was 5 months pregnant that her oncologist, her consultant, turned around and said, if you do not have this treatment, you will not see the year out. And, you know, the fear, I mean, I know how it took my breath away, but the fear in my mum had always remained very strong throughout all her diagnoses. In fact, it was always me and my mum that had to keep it together for my dad's sake, and my brother's sake, both my brothers' sake. That you know, men don't cope with these things very well at all, do they? But you know, on that occasion, that was a very different. You know, hearing those words. Literally saw her life flash before her eyes. You know, I saw it in her. I saw it in her face. And she got up from that chair and she ran out and she locked herself in the bathroom outside. And she was hysterical. There was no consoling her. You know, so you can just imagine, you know, that is my biggest fear now. You know, not being able to be there for my daughter. Not being able to give her the things that I want because I'm too unwell to provide for her, not being well enough to even look after her on a basic level, let alone, you know, be able to give her the things that she rightly deserves, you know, not be able to create those memories with her, you know, for both of us to cherish. You know, it's your health is your number one priority. And I see so many people, you know, putting their health at the bottom of the pecking order, because they see as a vehicle of gaining enjoyment, by compromising their health. And, you know, it's not the case at all. Your health needs to be, you know, and in terms of, you know, people will think twice about spending any money on their health, but they won't think twice about going out and buying that regular bottle of wine. They won't think twice about going out, you know, saving up and, you know, and paying for that Louis Vuitton handbag that they desperately want. You know, Louis Vuitton's your thing, of course. It might be Gucci, it might be Prada, whatever it is. Whatever it is, people won't think twice about doing that. They won't think twice about saving up for that luxury holiday that they want every single year. Even if it's not a luxury holiday, even if it's just a bog standard, you know, economy holiday, even still, you're not going to get change out for £1,000. You know, and people will go all out to save up for those things before they will invest upon their health. You know, but you know, even the basic of things, the basic of changes that you can implement, they don't require you to invest an awful lot of money in. You know, you can. It just requires willpower. It requires you to connect with your higher purpose, your deep-rooted reason for doing everything in life. You know, and my greatest desire is to empower other mums. You know, I want to empower everybody, of course I do, but I specifically connect with mums because I'm a mum myself, and I seen the fear in my mum's face, knowing that when she thought that she wasn't going to see her granddaughter born, only on her first granddaughter born, you know, and the thought of leaving her own children behind. You know, I saw that fear in her face, you know, and that is not something that I want to. I mean, you can probably hear in my voice, I get quite emotional when I think about it. That's not something I want to experience myself with my own daughter. And if there's anything that if I thought that, let's say, I mean, you know, I'm at high risk of receiving a not so favorable diagnosis. You know, that's why I go for annual screenings every single year because for you know, on the breast, because I am at high risk. You know, and of course with my Crohn's and everything, that's something, you know, I never take for granted. But yes, I'm in remission, but I never ever take it for granted. Never ever take it for granted. It's always a ticking time bomb. and that is my biggest fear. It is something, if I thought that I did something, within my diet or my lifestyle, that contributed to the deterioration of my health, and I knew it was going to compromise Sophia, I'd never live. That would be something I'd find hard to come to terms with. But yeah, I see people doing it over and over again every single day. And what I want to do is and a lot of it is down to, ignorance and not having the knowledge to be able to implement certain changes and not realising how much damage they are doing to themselves. And this is why I do what I do, because I want to empower you to be able to make better choices, not just for you, but for your children as well. Because every decision you make will either enhance their life moving forward, or it will damage them massively as they grow up. I've mentioned it before. Fatty liver disease is on the rise in children. Diabetes is on the rise in children. Obesity is on the rise in children. Now, you just have a think how you would feel if your child was diagnosed with any health condition, and you knew that you were to blame because of your lack of knowledge. How would that make you feel? I don't need you to answer me, because I know how it would make you feel. I know how I would feel. And I don't get me wrong, I know, particularly with sugar and sweets and treats, I know how hard it is. You've got to be cruel to be kind, but ultimately you have to know exactly, to be cruel to be kind, you've got to know what's not right for them. What bad choices are you making on their behalf that is compromising their foundations for having a strong, healthy life moving forward? So I don't want to rabbit on, because I say I could go on my soapbox for ages on this topic. So I'm not going to rabbit on anymore. I'm going to move forward. As I say, prevention is 100% in our own hands. We have full control of it, as I've said. Recovery is a shared responsibility. So if you are like me, my health, if I have a relapse, I know I need to go and get some steroids. I don't like them, because I know what the consequences of taking steroids are. But if I ever have a relapse, I am acutely aware I need to get on those steroids to help put those flames out, to allow my body to catch up with itself and stop chasing its tail. And that's what drugs do. Drugs buy you time. They don't cure you. They buy you time. They buy you time, or they treat a symptom. So in the case of what I've just explained with the steroids treat the inflammation at source, but they don't deal with it on a long-term basis. You still need your body to, assist that process moving forward. So it is very much a joint effort, okay? It is a joint effort. So if anybody has this, most people do have this idea that the doctors are there to save them. The doctors are not there to save anybody. They are there to support you, diagnose you. They're there to diagnose you. They are there to give you tools to assist your recovery. That's all they're there to do. Just to summarise, break it down a bit further. Prevention, you've got to look at your primary causes. You've got to engage in early diagnosis. So any screenings that you need to go for, smears, breast screenings, whatever it may be, you need to get them done. Don't put them off. If you've got a problem, particularly if it's just genetically driven issue, or cervical cancer, most cervical cancers are driven by the HPV virus. You need to be diagnosed early. Unless you're diagnosed early, you can't ramp up what you need to be doing. If I was ever diagnosed with anything, I will ramp up to like you would not believe. And I'm already doing a lot. So you do what you need to do to prime your body in the early stages, and then you need to get your early diagnosis done to make sure that if anything does go
untoward not go on, then you need to know about it soon, not before, not when your body's riddled. You can turn it around, when it hits that stage. My mum did it, of course she did. In the end, we lost my mum because of the negative effects of the treatments, would you believe? And this is why I put so much importance on prevention, because yes, the drugs are there, are a necessary evil when the body is under so much pressure, but those drugs come at a price. They come with their side effects and their consequences, some greater than others. My mum, they were scanning my mum's heart because they knew it damaged the heart. They knew it was the risk of the treatment damaging the heart and damaging the lungs. But what we didn't know was that the heart scan did not tell them or us if there was any damage if there was any change in heart rhythm. It didn't tell them if there was any damage to the heart walls. It didn't tell them anything like that. They needed to do an ECG to even start to identify if there was any change of rhythm. And then they'd need to send her for an echo scan. They didn't do either of those things. They did an ECG literally 4 days before she died, even though she was telling them she had breathless symptoms and pains in the chest. And they kept putting it down to the chemotherapy. The chemotherapy long past for it to be that. So don't rely on the medical profession to do the right thing. They don't always do the right thing. Don't like to criticise, but unfortunately they aren't infallible. They can be complacent. So you have to take the initiative yourself, and I can't stress this any greater. You have to take the initiative yourself to get, diagnosis done. Recovery, you need to look at your primary causes again, because you need to stop any further inflammation, cell damage occurring. You need to get the body working smarter, because you need your body firing all cylinders to be able to deal with the challenge at hand. And the drugs and treatments are there just to, like I said, take the heat out. What's the potential signs that the body may be under pressure? Digestive issues, fatigue, fat gain, skin reactions, joint pain, oral health problems, frequent colds and flus and viruses, feeling under the weather generally, depression. Depression, there's been studies released that's proved that inflammation is at the root of depression. So detox and cleanses. I'm sure many of you have engaged in detoxes and cleanses. But what detox and cleanses are not is juicing and smoothies, having juices and smoothies regularly, detox teas, supplements, colon cleanses. To cleanse the colon is to heal the colon. No product can heal the colon. No product can heal any area of the body. The only thing that can do that is your own repair process. You have something that's called an IGF-1 hormone, and if you recall, inadequate levels of sleep, you will not be able to release your IGF-1 hormone effectively, because you need to be entering REM cycle. So if you have taken any colon cleanses, you're wasting your money. To cleanse the colon is to heal the colon. The only thing that's going to do that is your body itself. The only way you're going to be able to improve your healing process is to implement the things that I'm covering with you. Okay, stopping carbs and sugar is not detoxing. Cutting out alcohol is not detoxing. Detox is in fact our body's natural defense system. You've all heard of antioxidants. Antioxidants is that its role is to protect our healthy cells. So as you can see here in the diagram, free radical, an angry free radical comes along that has an uneven amount of electrons around it, and it's hungry to have an even amount of electrons. So it's, unless there's a friendly antioxidant here to donate an electron to it, to make it a stable cell without a role, it will steal from your healthy cells. Okay, so although your angry free radical has suddenly become a stable cell, it has damaged your cells that do have a role, do play a very important role in keeping you healthy and keeping you well. Okay, fighting off viruses, instructing cancer cells to die, fighting off infections. That is the role of these healthy cells here. Okay, so if your free radicals are coming along and stealing off them and damaging their DNA structure, then we don't have a very, very, very well functioning immune system. And that's where antioxidants are important, because it relieves, it saves our healthy cells, so to speak. But again, we still need to implement our diet and lifestyle changes to minimize the amount of free radicals that we have, because the more free radicals we have, the harder the antioxidants can, the harder job our antioxidants have on its hands, and it won't physically have enough electrons to deal with, to attend to all of the free radicals that are present in the body. So cell damage will be inevitable. So it isn't just a case of you taking antioxidant supplement and thinking, right, I'm done. I'm gonna, my immune system's gonna perform, to its maximum potential. No, because if your lifestyle still sucks and your diet still sucks and you're still producing, an excessive amount of free radicals, well, you can pop as many antioxidant supplements as you like, and it's going to have no effect at all. But there are two types of antioxidants. We have primary antioxidants and we have secondary antioxidants. Primary antioxidants are our internal defense system. Okay, we have SOD, superoxide dismutase, we have catalase enzyme, and we have glutathione peroxidase. These are three primary antioxidants that the body produces naturally. It has nothing to do with the food that we eat. Underneath here is our secondary antioxidants. Okay, so these are dietary antioxidants. These are consumed through the foods that we eat, and they perform a buffering role, because they are very slow to react, so they're never going to stop cell damage all on their own, never in a million years. They some of them are water soluble, so before they've even had a chance to react and get up to speed, have been flushed out the system. So can you rely on these these secondary antioxidants to protect our cells? Never. Any supplements that you take that say they are antioxidant supplements, they are dietary antioxidants. They are from food sources. So again, they are not going to defend your cells. That's not to say your vitamins and your minerals are not important. They absolutely are, but they have other roles. They have other important roles. For example, as we've covered just in the other video, vitamin C helps to bind iron. It helps to produce collagen as well. So, each vitamin has its own independent role, but in terms of being an effective antioxidant, in my opinion, useless. So if you've ever taken vitamin C to prevent colds and flus, total waste of time. Okay, we need our primary antioxidants to protect our cells. Now you're probably wondering, well, if the body does, has these, produces these things, why do we get ill, Kate? Quite simply, SOD and catalase those two enzymes become sluggish with age. The older we get, and that's all part of the aging process. That is exactly why we age. We age as a result of cell damage, and because these become sluggish, it means that our body's not able to keep as many healthy cells going. Simple as that. That is it in a nutshell. Grey hairs is as a result of the breakdown of catalase enzyme. How can you? There is a way you can help to re-stimulate these up a little bit more, though. through introducing certain foods that has those enzymes in, but you have to deliver them in a very, very potent form. They have to be super fresh. They have to be delivered raw, to have any effect on re-stimulating your natural production back up again. SOD, there's a rare breed of melon. Don't think you can go out and just eat this melon. It's not as simple as that. They have to extract the SOD property from it, produce it, put it through a patented process that actually protects it from deterioration, and produce it into a powder form. It is ridiculously expensive. It is a property that my dad puts in his in some of his clinical food blends that have gone through clinical approval. So it's not something you can just go out to, any health food store and just purchase. In fact, it's not available to buy as a standalone product as far as I know. Catalase enzyme. Catalase enzyme a bit more simple. You can raw carrot has catalase enzyme in. Raw pak choi has catalase enzyme in. So again, you can re-stimulate your catalase enzyme back up again, provided you're eating those foods raw and you are consuming them super fresh. So don't think you can go out to the supermarket and buy them and you're going to be benefiting from this catalase enzyme. These have to be, if you've got somewhere that grows fresh veg, so you're getting them super fresh, that would, or growing them yourself, that's the only way that you have control over that. Okay. Glutathione peroxidase. The only thing that impairs glutathione peroxidase, it isn't affected by age, thank God, but it is impaired by poor diet. So the only way you're going to rectify this is to sort your diet out and sort your inflammatory levels out. That's the only way you're going to rectify this glutathione peroxidase issue. Okay. So two things that we need to keep a lid on is inflammation and cell damage. Inflammation affects so many health conditions. It is unreal. Obesity, as we've already covered. Diabetes, as we've already covered. Cardiovascular disease, gingivitis, eye disorders, joint pain, any cancers. I know it just says here colon and breast cancer, but it is any cancers. Any cancers will encourage any cancer to grow. Inflammation will encourage any cancer to grow. Any bowel issues, even if you've got IBS is inflammatory bowel symptoms. Crohn's disease, an inflammatory bowel disease. Colitis is inflammatory bowel disease. Asthma is the inflammation of the lungs. Arthritis is inflammation of the joints, injuries, infections. There's so many conditions that are affected by inflammation, and of course, we damage the cells that make up our immune system, as I've said before. Then we don't have an immune system to help our body fight against these things when they occur. Okay. Inflammation also hinders our digestive enzymes. Okay, so what this is going to do is, when we eat our food, our digestive enzymes start that breaking down process before it hits the gut. Okay, and the gut's role is to finish off the breaking down, so that you can absorb the nutrients from the food, and then pass away the waste. But when you are not breaking down the food effectively with your digestive enzymes, it means it's hitting the gut solid, and that means your gut is having to work extra hard to break down the food that you're eating, and that in turn is causing more inflammation. Okay, and the more inflammation you cause, the more it's impairing the digestive enzymes. So it really is a vicious cycle. So there's a lot of domino effect here that go on internally just by not dealing with by you engaging in a bad diet and lifestyle. So there's lots of reasons why we need to get a lid on the inflammation. The gut makes up 70% of our immune system in our whole gut, so it's our whole body. So it makes sense as to why we need to protect those cells with our life. why we need to be very conscious of what the food that's going into our body and the drinks that we are drinking as well. Okay, because whatever's going into our gut is going to either enhance the quality of the gut or it's going to hinder the quality of the gut. Okay, and if it hinders it, then it's damaging the immune system. So tomorrow I want you to be making notes from tomorrow as to what things apply to you, so you can get an idea as to how much you need to work on, essentially, and how much stress the body is actually under. So tomorrow we are going to cover lifestyle factors and how they directly and indirectly affect the body negatively. So for now, that's it. And I'm going to love you and leave you all. And I shall catch you in tomorrow's video.